Hello, I'm Rick Stivers with YoungMartin'sReels. Today's project is going to be this damn quick champion reel. I believe that this is a 700B, but I'm not positive of that. And this one is non-functional. The button is stuck in, the handle's bent down, and it does appear to rotate a little bit there. So we're going to take this apart, see if we can take it apart, clean it, and lubricate it, and see if we can get it up and running again. This belongs to my daughter's fiance, which tomorrow he'll be her husband. It belongs to his stepdad, and it belonged to his dad. And these came to me today, and they asked me if I could see what I could do with them. And I said, sure, I'd see if I couldn't get some of them up and running. So I've decided I'm going to take this one and drop it off with Michael tomorrow and see if he can take it fishing again. Okay, we took off the 10mm nut, and I took off the screw, and now we can slide this handle up and off, and there is it appears to be a tension washer, but I think it's just a locking washer right there. Okay, and then underneath there's definitely a tension washer. Let's see if we can get this to unscrew. Take this tension washer off. And these reels are just really incredibly dirty. And I don't know if they're salvageable, but I'm going to give it a try. Okay, it's got those off. And not sure what we're turning on and off there, unless it's a clicker. Yeah, so far, there. Okay, does that lock the button in? Whenever that does, in the on position, there we go. So we'll take a look at this and see what we got. It is somewhat functional again all of a sudden. So let's loosen up these three keeper screws for the side and see if we can pull this off. Oh, kind of feels like it's been on there a long time. There we go. It's coming off. Spool's coming with it. That normally don't think is the way that's supposed to come off. Let's see if we can pull the spool out, or if it's, there we go. Okay, do not lose these brakes right here. All right, we'll set that over to the side. And okay, there's a spring there. It's a big spring. Okay, so that's what they're using for a tensioner for this. All right, we've got two screws here that we're going to take out. And as per the way Dennis Kuntz taught me, we're going to put this in the palm of my hand and remove these screws for the bridge and see if we can take this cap off. Okay, and now we'll slide the cover off, I hope. Wow, this has all been here a long time. Okay, let's try getting in between the case. There we go. See if we can open this up a little bit. There's not a screw on this side anywhere. No. Okay. It's possible, I guess, if this needs to come off. I wouldn't think so, but we'll take that off. There's the brass washers that go inside it. Set them over to the side. Okay. And this does have a ball bearing in here, and it is still functional and turns, so that's good. Okay, but this cap should come off at this point. And our pinion gear's trying to fall out. Making some progress. Had the dirt in this coming out on the table. There it comes. All right. Now comes the cover off. Actually, once you get most of that off, it's really not that bad inside. It's just dry. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at how it works. Anti-reverse is functional. Here's your anti-reverse call, and it's activated in here, and it seems to be working fine. Everything else here just is dirty. That's all I see. All right, so we can fix this by, let's see now, but now let's see what it is that this switch activates here. Okay, this goes back on like so. Okay, and this switch, okay, well, that switch, like so, it goes up. And I'm not sure its purpose yet. Nice reel though, very, very nice quality parts. Okay, let's start off by going ahead and taking the gear assembly off. Okay, that comes off the post. Now, all of that came off as one. Do not lose this copper washer, because what is the case with all of these bait casters, that is a very important part. And we're going to clean that one back up and get it put back on there. And is there another one on here? Nope, that's part of the case. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Okay, we're going to remove this spring from here. Look at the tension that it puts on. Okay, we just lost our pinion gear out of there. And I think it's okay. Doesn't appear to be damaged in any way. It's dirty, but it looks good. Let's zoom in so you can see it better. And I got to zoom back out. Don't really think it's damaged, but it sure is dry. Okay, in its position, if you didn't catch it, when this is in, like so, see how the forks come up? And this gear goes right there, like so. And then when this comes over, right here, there's a cog that pushes this over, like so, and that releases it and allows it to go up. But we're going to take this apart and put it back together nice and clean so that all these parts are going to function like they should. Okay, so we're going to start off by going ahead and taking this pinion gear out. There we go. And then, okay, at that point, this spring is extended, and we don't want it extended when we're putting it on and off. So there, we'll put that there. And I'm going to hook onto the spring here and lift it out and off. Okay. I'll just leave it on there. There it goes, it comes off. Set that over to the side. And now we've got a spring on this side over here that we need to get off in order to finish taking this apart. Let's blow this up just a little bit so you can see what we got going on here. Okay, let's get this. All right. Yeah, let's get back to this. We're going to lift this spring off next. Take it out and up and off. There we go. Okay, that spring is now off. Okay, with those two springs off, let's see what it would take now to take this apart. Okay, I think we're going to leave it. I don't think we're going to get that carried away with taking it apart. Oh, and there goes the pin. But if I take that pin out, if you look right there, that pin is spring-loaded. And that looks like that would be a nightmare to get that pin back in there. But you know what? I've always been a little adventurous. Trying to debate, do I take that out or not? I believe I can get it back in. So I'm going to put my thumb against it here, and I'm going to pull that pin out. Like so. And you can see it's starting to stretch over. It's got a lot of tension on it, but I think I can put it back. Okay, it's got the pin out. All right, now that spring comes out like so, and I can see how it goes. And I think I can just push that right back in again. Now with that out, I can take this piece out here. Let me back this up just a little bit. Okay, and now I should be able to slide this out, lift it up and out like so. And yeah, that's as close as that one's going. Oh, there it comes. There we go. Got it out. All right. That's got all the pieces off. Now we can scrub and clean this, re-lubricate it, and put it all back together. And see how we do with that. And the last part of this is going to be this main gear assembly here. And that'll push out like so. There is our anti-reverse dog right there. And it seems to be in good shape. And we want to pay close attention to how this anti-reverse gear here works. This is going to go on here like so. Let's see. Oh, it's like this. Because it's going to be able to pull it in like that. Okay? And as it rolls by, it'll go like this. Okay? And it's got to be able to catch back in there like so. But it is a little bit stretched, so we're going to flatten that back in just a little bit when we put it back together. All right, so we've got this claw, and there is the release. See this right here? That's what's going to be catching on that claw or arm right there at the bottom to trip it back and kick it back out. This is a nice little reel. I like this reel. All right, and finally there is a washer on the bottom of here. There we go. That's a hard washer. And then underneath there is the bell. This is the bell washer. It's going to go here. And then we've got this hard washer, which it looks like it's going to be a nightmare to try to get up out of there. It does not look like it will easily come up and out of there. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to leave that in there because I'm afraid I'll break it. And it's still functional the way it is. The drag still works. It's just all of its friction is here on this part. So let's clean up what we have. I'll get all these parts cleaned up, then we'll come back and we'll tear this part apart before we put it back together in there. But I'm going to come back in a minute with all these parts cleaned up. I'm going to show you how to tighten this up just a little bit. All I'm going to do is take it one side at a time. I'm going to hold this and I'm just going to push this in just a little bit right at the base. That's all it takes. I just tightened it up just a little bit, and that's all it needed. All right, it's time, I think, now to start putting it back together. And what we're going to do is we're going to take and put a little bit of grease in the bottom where this arm is going to ride, and we're going to put a little bit of grease right directly on the arm itself to make sure that we haven't missed anything. Like so. And then we've got to maneuver this in like this and hook it back up in there like that. Okay, once it's in there, we should be able to slide it under this part, and there it goes. Now it's in position. Okay. Next is going to go this piece, and it's going to go in like so. And this is our fork. Normally it would be a yoke, but in this case it's more like a fork on a transmission. So we're going to pull this back, and we've got to get the spring in there. Well, in order to put the spring in, we've got to start off by getting this pin started, and it's got to match up in this hole over here. Okay, it's started, and that's all we can do is just get it started in the hole, and now we've got the spring, and the spring is going to be the hard part to get in. We've got to set it down over here and rotate it around so it's going in the right orientation, and it flipped all the way through, so that's not helping. Okay, let's try again. Okay, there we go. I finally got that spring back in. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to recommend nobody ever take that spring out unless you got a special tool for putting it back in. That was a nightmare. All right. So anyway, that's back in. It's lubricated. Let's get these springs back on it before something happens. All right, we've got this long hook right here on this spring. It's going to hook over top of that post right there, and then the other one's going to come over and hook onto this post. So let's go ahead and we'll hook into that one and hook it down on there. And there we go. That spring is on. And that really makes that spring loaded now. Okay. And now we've got this one that goes on the other side. And it's got this open hook right here. That open hook is going to hook right here into there. And then it's going to come over and go onto that post. Like so. All right, now we've got all that put back together. Okay, that now, this spring pulls us over. Remember before I was able to push this in and it would pop right back out? Well, when this comes over, it jumps over like that. And that, I believe, is what this on-off switch is going to do. I believe that it's going to keep that over there and keep it from being able to drop over and lock, which means that this should, in the on position, I'm thinking, if that's locked in the up position like so, then it's going to automatically pop back every time. Okay. Let's go ahead while I'm over here and let's spray. I haven't done anything with this side case, so I'm going to go ahead and scrub it up real quick, put some oil on that bearing, clean the inside of this, and let that soak a minute while we put the rest of this back together. Okay, here's our pinion gear. We're ready to reinstall the pinion gear. I've cleaned it up. We're going to grease it up. like so. And this slotted side right here is going to go down towards the spool. So when this pushes this up, that pops that up in the air like so. And we're going to set it right back in there like that. And then we're going to release it, because that will now hold that pinion gear in place. It will keep it from falling out. All right, we're going to put a little bit of grease then on the yoke portion of that fork. Okay, and we are ready to start putting the gear side back together. Right, we're going to start off with this copper washer. Usually these are little bitty copper washers, but on this particular design of reel, they've gone with a much bigger copper washer. Okay, that goes on first. All right, next is going to be this gear assembly, like so. And it's going to go on in this position right here. Okay, with this gear on the bottom. And all of that is going to fit inside here like so. Okay, so now that gives us this piece in here. Gonna drop down like that. There we go. See how that gear fits in there? Okay, then that's going to go. Let's put some lubrication on this post right here. And we're going to slide this down with that in position, locked in there like that. We're going to slide that down. And I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and do this. Let's grease the bottom of this right here, so that this piece will stay stuck to it, like so. So that when we set it in place, it's going to stay. Okay, so let's set this down on there, like so. Okay, now the part that we've got to get put back on there is going to be this anti-reverse pawl right here, and it's going to fit on each side of this gear here, like so, and it fits in there like that. All right, we're going to put a little bit of grease here, and I'm also going to put oil on that, because I want that to be able to pivot very, very easily. Okay, get that to go down there. And I've greased it. I'm going to add oil to it, just like that. That way, when this turns, see how the anti-reverse pawl locks back in, like so. And now that gear on the bottom, its purpose in life is to kick this back out. Okay, when this rotates, that little gear on the bottom is going to kick that fork right here back over, like so, and that trips it back out. All right, the next thing we're going to put on is going to be this hard washer, and we're going to give it just a smidgen of gear grease, and slide that down, and then comes the gear itself. And now we're going to go ahead. I have a bad habit of forgetting to lubricate these gears, so we're going to go ahead and lubricate it now before I forget. All right, we're going to slide that back down here like so, and get it to mesh with the pinion gear. Like so. Come on, pinion gear. Up, pinion gear fell off. There we go. Okay, there we go. Up, and I lifted it up. When I did, the anti-reverse pawl fell off. All right, there we go. Back on. Get the pinion gear line back up. There we go. It's got all these requirements met now. Now the pinion gear is not going to fit firmly up against this gear without having the spool shaft in. Okay, the spool shaft has to come through and hold that in place. All right, next is going to go our bell washer. And all of this would be about ready to put together, except for getting this piece cleaned up. So I'll be right back. Okay, we've got that cleaned up. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the off position, because I believe in the off position is where the disassembly will operate properly. So in off, we'll set it down. Let's give it a try. Set this down like so. And we've got to make sure that this lines up properly. Okay, that's good. And we're going to put one screw in for a moment, just to see if I've got the configuration on this correct, or this positioning. All right, so button goes in. Okay, it stays like it's supposed to. Rotate, boom, button comes out. Go to on. Now, I guess in the on position, it just holds it. No. I don't see that that's doing anything. Huh. I'm going to take it back apart and see if I can see anything there that would make that activate anything. Okay. That lines that up to there and puts that post right there. Put the screws back in it. Maybe it only does something when it's all back together, but I don't know. Doesn't seem to do anything that I can tell. Okay. That's got this assembly cleaned and ready to go back together. So let's move on to this side. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take these brakes off right here before I lose them. And we're going to clean up some of this old line that's on here. There we go. Okay, take a look at this gear, and we'll spray it down with a little WD-40. And a little bit of work with the brush. All right. Spool's clean. Let's take a look at the frame. Frame's kind of dirty, but nothing we can't clean. We're missing a screw. I'll have to see if I can't find one for that. We're off. And that leaves us with a very, very dirty level wind. And we're going to see what we can do to clean that up. It's got a C-clip here. Before we get that far, we're going to go ahead and take out the pawl, or try to. Take off the pawl cap first, and then see if we can get the pawl to drop out. That pawl's been in there a long time. Let's see if it's stainless steel or steel. Let's see if we can pull that out of there. There we go. That got the pawl out. Okay. We'll clean that up and put it back in. I like when those are made out of steel. It makes it much easier to get in and out. Okay. I'm going to go ahead at this point and take out this E-clip right here. There it is. Okay, there's the E-clip. And we'll slide all of this out. Like so. I'll have to clean that out inside there. And looks like this does not want to come out, so we're going to have to clean it inside there. Okay. And the way I clean these, if I can't get them to come out, like this one doesn't want to, is I'll take it like that, and I will go ahead with an acid brush and start scrubbing down inside there. And then I'll rotate it. And I'll scrub it again. And the idea is to get all those little tracks to come so clean that they're all bright and shiny instead of being black and nasty looking. Okay, so I'm going to rinse this out with a little WD-40 to rinse all the funk and gunk out. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how it should look. It should look like that. All right. Now I'm going to run a cotton swab through here a little bit and run him down through the pawl channel like so. See if we can't get this guy cleaned up. And if he's nice and clean, hopefully he's going to slide easily on this part, and it does. Okay. See this grit? I don't know how well you can see it. Let me zoom in a little bit. See the grit that's on this dirt buildup on this pawl? Well, that can cause the pawl to catch in the worm gear. So you need to get all that off of there. Scrub it up. And then get all of this excess dirt that's on the outside of the pawl cleaned up. And I'm going to grab hold of this. These right here. Just so I can hold it. And then I'm just going to scrub it up a little bit. Okay. With that done, it should be all nice and clean. Like that. Alright. Pawl cap is here. If there is a washer inside your pawl cap, don't lose it. Alright. I will be back in a minute. I'm going to go ahead off of the camera and scrub this part up. Okay, we're back and ready to start reassembling this. This part is nice and clean now. And we're ready to start putting all this back together. We've got this grommet that's supposed to fit into this side over here. And it's got, I believe there's a flat spot somewhere, or not. Okay, fits in that hole. like so. Interesting. Okay. Next comes our worm gear assembly. And it's going to slide in from this side, but on its way in, you've got to have this piece installed. So this has got to come in, go through, and now this has got to come up and go into the bar above it, like so, as this part over here fits in to the other side. Which is easier said than done. There we go. The opening for your worm gear has got to go onto this bottom right here. Okay, with that snapped in, let's put this back on because it wasn't supposed to come out. All right, this part will lock into this hole right here, like so. This part will lock into this hole. If you put it in this way though, and then try to install this grommet will not go in. Okay, what you have to do is you have to first install the grommet in the hole and then bring this up through, because if you try it the other way, it seals up the hole that the piece is supposed to fit through. When it locks in, it's very positive lock. It drops right in. Like so. There, it just dropped in. All right. There. Once that's in, now you got to hold it so that it doesn't fall out. If you let it fall back out, you got to fight that whole battle all over again. Okay, then comes this washer. Like so. And then comes this little bitty E-clip right here. You gotta snap that on. All right, now you've got all of that back together. This bar slides easily. Now you're going to come back and you're going to oil this worm gear, and you're going to oil this chamber that the pawl fits into. And you're going to set the pawl back down inside there, like so, and get it to drop in. And that may take a little effort. Once it falls though, it'll fall in good, and you'll be able to rotate this back and forth easily. Now, take your pawl cap, set it back in place, and screw it down. All right, now if you've got it properly installed, this should go back and forth easily. Okay, once you get it there, tighten the cap down, and we should be ready to go again. It seems to be sticking right there for some reason. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the pawl out and reverse it around and see if it has any effect. Not being in the other way. Could be that there's a burr on the, as dirty as this thing was, it could very well be that there's a burr on the, but we'll try it. Okay, we're going to turn that around the other way and put it back in. Okay. Okay, that seems to have taken care of it. find out momentarily. I don't know why it is, but sometimes I've encountered that to where it works much better with the pawl being in a certain position. And it's probably just a wear pattern. Yep. Okay. So there we have it. Okay. Now this side we've cleaned up. We're going to go ahead. We made sure that the bearing was turning on this side, and it is. And we've oiled it once, but we're going to go ahead and oil it again. And we're going to oil this gear right here. And this gear should not need grease on the outside of it any, just a little bit on the shaft. Okay. Once we've done that, we're going to put this back on. And that gear should line up with that gear. And then everything should pop back together. Put our 2 screws in. And I still don't have an extra screw for that yet, but I'm hoping I'll find one down in my screw box. All right, I'm going to loosen this up just a little bit. Take the pressure off of anything that might be on the spool. And we're going to take and set the spool back in. I'm going to put just a little bit of grease, since this is metal on this end. I'm going to put just a little bit of grease on the metal end of this gear. But it does fit up against the plastic or nylon gear, so it shouldn't affect it. Shouldn't need to be greased, but we're going to grease it anyway. And we'll slide that down in there. Okay, it's spinning much easier than it did earlier. All right. Now we've got these 2 brakes. Okay, we're going to put them on. And it goes on each side, like so. There we go. Now we're ready to slide this side back on. Make sure. Let's go zoom this back out now a little bit. Okay, now we're going to put this hole here's got to go in this large hole over here, like so. And then all these line up, and then this spool shaft has got to go on here. And we've oiled this gear, but we're going to go ahead and oil it once more again. And we're going to put a little oil on the shaft here just to help it slide in. It doesn't help it with any kind of rotation. It's just to help it slide into here. Okay, slide it together like so. And we're ready to start all 3 of these. Now comes this spring. That goes in on top of that dome washer that's inside. And then we're going to screw on this tension, or sorry, the star drag. And we're going to see if we can clean it up just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of oil on the shaft here. And then we're going to carefully screw this back down. Okay. So if you look at it, you'll see that it's pretty distinguishedly bent. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to straighten it out just a little bit with a wooden block and a ball peen hammer. And it appears that I was successful there. So we're going to take this handle now, sit it on here, and use it to hold this in place while we tighten this star drag down just a little bit more. All right. Now we need to put this cap back in place with these brass shims that go in the end, right there. And give that a shot of oil in the end. And let's see if we can get that started. This one probably should have been put on before the star drag. And I may have to go back, take the star drag off, but I think I can get it started. Well, let's just do it the easy way. And go ahead. Is it going on? Yeah, it's going on. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, now there should be one of these tension washers on the handle here. Like so. And it really doesn't do anything for tension that I can see. But they had one here. And they had another one on top of it, and I don't see where either one of them was doing anything for the tension or anything else. But let's go ahead and put them back in where they got them, where we got them from. Okay. Now before we put that on, we got to put this screw back in. Now we can put the cap back on. All right, now that it's all back together, I can show you what this switch does. What it does doesn't make any sense to me, but it is what it does. In the on position, okay, everything's operating normal. You push the button, and the handle is now completely disengaged from the spool, but winding the handle does not engage the spool. So that's its purpose. It keeps the handle from being able to engage the spool. In the off position, now when the handle is wound, it automatically engages the spool. So that's its purpose in life, how that works, or what why you would want that. Oh, now it's not working again. Oh, yeah, you have to push it in first. Okay, the spool will not activate it, so it's like a live bait feeder. But it won't do anything until you flip the switch back. And I don't understand what the purpose behind that is. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, there you have it. The Damn Quick. It is the Damn Quick. I believe this is the 700B. There's also a 600B that I haven't done yet. This is a 600B. And that's why I believe this is a 700B. It could be an 800B, but it's missing the badge right here, like this one has. This one has a badge telling us it's a 600B, but I believe that this one is a 700B, made by Damn Quick, out of Germany. And it seems to be a pretty nice reel. I like it. Let's see, I tightened that down just a bit much. Okay. That's all right. I would leave this switch alone. All I can see that doing is causing me to lose a fish. The drag is working nicely. We can loosen it and tighten it. That one drag washer was stuck, and I didn't want to break it, so I left it in place. But there you have the Damn Quick, I believe 700B, and I'm going to strip the line off of it, and it's going, as soon as I find a screw for it over here, it's going to go back to my future son-in-law. As a matter of fact, tomorrow he'll be my son-in-law. It will go to his stepdad. And this reel belonged to his dad. And it's a nice reel. And I hope he's going to be happy with it. For now, that's Rick Stivers of Young Martin's Reels, signing out.